Thank you so much for still staying with us. You are still on AM Cafe, and we're moving on to another conversation entirely, and that's talking about World Post Day. You might ask, do people still post? Yes, they do. Let me give you a little bit of the background about the day. The purpose of World Post Day is to raise awareness of the postal sector in everyday lives of both people and businesses, and its contribution to development of countries. The day encourages members of countries of the UN to undertake program activities aimed at generating a broader awareness of their post role and activities. And this is what we shall be talking about this beautiful day. The theme is innovation, integration, and inclusion. We have a guest in the house. Is Mr. Timitokbe Adesuyi, FedEx Regional Manager, Ibadan. It's good to have you here this morning.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you. Let me start off this way. Yeah. When you talk about the postal day, a lot of people will be asking questions that how many people even go to the post office. But before we came on set, you were actually talking about some stringent documents and something like spare parts can easily be posted through this means of internet. But beyond that, looking at where we are today in terms of government facilities, when you talk about posting letters, posting major items that you need, maybe you getting admission to an international university and you needed to post some of your original document or some key vital documents that you don't want to get lost. Do they have the capacity and the facilities that they ought to have in a post office? Because it looks more or less like during the colonial period, most time when you visit public facilities meant for post services itself.
Okay, thank you very much. I will say that the post system has evolved over time. It is an evolution. Before now, talking about 30, 40, 50 years ago, people go to the post office to send whatever they want to send. You want to send a document, you want to send a love letter to wherever, you want to send non-documents, you go to the post office, and the person at the receiving end too goes to the post office to pick whatever they want to, whatever was sent to them. But now there is like I said, there's an evolution. Post is not just about going to the post office or going to the courier office or the express center. It is more like a door-to-door delivery kind of arrangement now. You go to, is either you call the postman or the postal service, or in our own case, the courier company, to come and pick whatever you want to pick up and deliver at a particular address.
Let me ask you this. How fast is this? Because I could remember there was a time in the late 80s when I would write a letter to my father. It would take a month for it to deliver before you could see it actually. How fast is the service now?
Okay, about 20 years ago, or more than 20 years ago, one of the innovations that came into the post industry is the express service. So before it takes a month, weeks, but now it takes days. The average express service delivery company, depending on the location, if it is an international, if it's going out of Nigeria, it takes 3 working days. Where there might be some delays, especially customs, it takes more than 3 working days, depending on the custom, the regulatory body, because everything that comes in the country has to go through customs. Then even within Nigeria, for example, there are locations where you do next day delivery. There are some locations you do same day delivery, especially when it is within the metropolis. For example, Ibadan, you are sending something from this place to somewhere in maybe Mokola. It's as good as the same day delivery.
What's the patronage like? Are people still patronizing the postal offices?
Yes, a professor of one of the leading voices in courier and logistics in Nigeria said the post industry, let me use the word the logistics industry, courier logistics industry, the value or the potential value is about 1 trillion naira. It is a huge industry, and I, like we were saying before we came on set, there are a lot of things you send. You will be amazed at how much people send things or how much people receive.
But how much is the country generating from postal services itself? Looking at taxes now,
Okay.
You also operate one, which is more or less off government now. It's more of a private sector driven approach.
Yes.
But how much more does the government make, or the system? How much does it contribute to the GDP of the country itself?
Okay, to the GDP, you are looking at over. I'm not just for being very conservative. The courier industry should be contributing close to 20 billion. In
That
a
is
quarter.
in taxes here.
In taxes.
Okay.
And why I said that conservatively, because there are times you hear it's about 100 or thereabout, is because we have registered courier companies, or registered people that are registered with the regulatory agency here, which is NIPOST. NIPOST regulates all courier.
Is there a
postal.
recapitalization process like what happens in the banking sector? How does it operate?
It depends on the regulatory body. You know, the recapitalization for the bank was an instruction from the CBN that this benchmark, every bank should have at least this amount as capital base. It all depends on also because for the organization I work, from time to time we try to build capital. We usually do that based on our track record, show prospective investors this is what we have done and this is what we can do. So basically the industry is regulated by, like I said, NIPOS through the Korea Regulatory Department, and for now there has been agitations for us to have to be kind of independent, to have a separate regulatory agency from NIPOST, you know, so as to bring up innovations and up our game, like what she said about recapitalization. But you'll be surprised that we have about 20 or 30 registered, or close to 100 registered courier companies in Nigeria, but we have a whole lot of unregistered courier companies. We call them one-man businesses. You know, somebody that will say, okay, I will deliver whatever you want to whatever you want me to deliver for you for 1,000 naira within 2 hours. You know, they don't have.
Don't you think it's part of the influx of the e-commerce that we are having in the country? Like now, if you buy goods online, the e-commerce websites that is providing that services will want to deliver to you and ask you to pay. Don't you think it's part of the factor of influx of some of these electronic businesses that we have today?
Yes, you know, like you noted, one of the themes or one of the focal points the World Post Day is innovation, and one of the best things that has happened to the post industry is e-commerce. You know, because if you look at the biggest, even the richest man, Jeff Bezos, his business, he majorly start. He has Amazon. Basically, Amazon thrives on e-commerce. Basically.
And we have pockets of that like that in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, you have Jumia now. Jumia is a marketplace, online marketplace. You have Konga and the likes. And like you noted, and which is very, very valid, one of the results of the coming in of e-commerce when you have is the mushroom companies coming up. And one of those things that having a stable regulator of the industry will do is to ensure that these people that are not registered, they bring them in and make sure they are registered.
You've talked so much about the innovations and the benefits. Yes. So what are the challenges that is facing postal services, as it were? Okay,
first of all is the enabling environment. That's the responsibility of government is to create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. And especially in Nigeria, because I can speak for Nigeria, one of the limitations that we have is not having an alternative transport system, because courier thrives on transport. You look at the roads are not too good, you know, and there are times that you have shipments that are sensitive. You talk about coaching, we call them coaching. You have blood samples, you have DNA samples that they have to be in a particular state. Maybe they must not be shaken. They have to be intact. Not they should not shift position and all. So that is one. You have the need for the rail system. The rail system should number one. The rail system moves heavyweights. They move a lot of it's at times not safe for us to move some heavyweights, some agricultural products from the north, bringing them down south, and even some other things. Basically, for the rail system, it has to do with the agric products. So the challenge basically, we not that we are trying to be irresponsible, but we feel that if the government can create an enabling environment, it's going to really do. We can do more.
You indeed talked about the issue of having other mushroom kind of postal services registered.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be more reasonable to have the government or the system, the monetary mechanism, ensure that there is partnership with the registered companies? For instance, online businesses would not want to be registered as a postal service because they do more than that. They also sell products. Would it not be reasonable for the monetary mechanism to say that if you're doing an e-commerce business online or whatever the case may be, work in tandem with registered postal services which are already existing in the country itself?
Okay, thank you very much. The online businesses use courier services to do the deliveries. What they do is just sell online. They show you, we have this shoe, is 5,000 naira. Okay, I want to buy this shoe. Okay, you stay in Sokoto, the cost of delivery to you is 2,000. That business will not do the delivery. It is the courier that does it. So we have a relationship. We have a strong partner. That's why I said that the e-commerce is one of the best things that has happened, because it has a kind of boosted the value, the naira value, the economic value of our businesses. I can give you a very a practical example. One of the organizations within my organization is actually focused on e-commerce. They started out maybe for with a revenue of maybe, I think it was about 10 million. Now they are doing about times 10. This is a space of 5 years. Is it 5 years? It's about 3 years. So it's to tell you what they do, anybody that sells online. Though there are some that have their own a personal dispatch rider. Those are the small ones that, okay, I am just within a particular state or within the state capital, so I can afford the cost of a dispatch rider. But for a very shrewd businessman, you look at it that instead of paying 30,000 naira for a dispatch rider, why don't I outsource it to a post service or a courier company that at the end of the day I might even be paying less?
Okay, so what are your losses when you look at the postal service itself? What are some of the things that you say they are losses that you incurred in terms of doing businesses? We know that the road network is something that is not favorable most times, because you have to take your bike. Sometimes they even use bike to make it speedy because of the traffic and the lock jam, as the case may be. Yes. But what are some of these impediments that has caused huge losses for the postal service industry?
Okay, every business has its risk and also losses from time to time. One of the major risk in courier is also the strongest factor, which is also transport. Okay, at times you have cases of accidents. Number one, those accidents affect
and no insurance
us. They are usually insured. We have they are insured, whatever we do, and that is why people will want to do courier, because there is insurance. Whatever happens to my shipment or my package, and it is justifiable, it's not my fault, I have handed it over to this courier, to this person, so I can get significant return.
Okay, so as we celebrate World Post Day, what are those things that you would like to advocate for?
An enabling environment for business to thrive. Basically, that is one thing that that makes it easy for us. When I promise you, I'm a salesperson, I sell, and for my company I also manage. It is always my joy when I when I tell my customer I will deliver this package in 3 days, or my customer comes to meet me, I need this package delivered next day, I need this package delivered before 12 o'clock tomorrow, and the package is delivered 10 o'clock, and I'm telling my customer, I have the confidence to call my customer, your package has been delivered. And what makes that work is when there's an enabling environment, when I know that with all these factors that have been made available to me, I have this factor of the roads are good, everything is working well, my internal process, I have taken care of my internal process. So once I know this works, I have a confidence to always tell to talk to people that use.
You keep mentioning infrastructure, so you think that for this particular sector, infrastructure is key. Then what are you doing to make sure that things get better?
Well, on our own part, we cater to our people, basically our staff, ensure that what they need to work, because just as the government, also the business owner too has to make sure that the work tools are available. That is on one side. At the same time too, we have also been advocating, we have always been in contact with our regulators, the present regulators, which is the courier we face, especially for our customers, people that do international business, customs. Customs, you want a package, some of them are even life and death, and but because customs is government, everything that comes to any country has to go through customs or the regulatory body that is the relevant regulatory body. So there are times that there are some of them that are time bound, they are time sensitive, that need to be delivered, or else it might make one lose his life or save a life. So those are some of those things, the advocacy we have been taking up with our regulatory bodies, making them see these are some of those things we face, and we feel you can help us to make business better.
But looking at the World Post Day itself, what are some of the significant things that you want to pick out of this day, and how significant is the day to the future of postal service in a country like Nigeria?
One of those things that fascinated me about the World Post Day, this particular, is innovation. Innovation is the bedrock of any business. Innovation. And just like our discussion, you noticed that I said that there has been an evolution in this industry, and you can be sure that in the days to come you'll be seeing more, you'll be seeing different things. Before now, you said it, before you send something it takes a month, now it takes three days, it takes 1 day, it takes, depending on the location, and when there is also, like I said, the alternative product like rail and other systems, you'll be delighted, maybe in the long run, that those things that take 3 days might be taking a day. For some countries outside Nigeria, I'm talking about Europe, Italy and Germany, or is it Italy and Germany? I think China and the US. China is Asia, US is South America. That they do next day delivery, that distance, so that is, so that's why I said that one of those things I really like about that this thing is innovation. What will make you.
But is there a enabling environment for innovation to strive? Would you say, as a matter of fact, that the government has done enough when it comes to injecting budget and financing for the postal service in Nigeria? Have they created enough enabling environment to tap into innovation itself?
They've not done enough. The reason is this. You see, our industry it thrives based on, look at the internet. The reason why there's e-commerce today is because of internet. Without internet, there is no e-commerce. So the same thing about courier. If government does not necessarily have to say, I want to allocate this, they can do that for NIPOST, because NIPOST also has they have a part of an organization, EMS, that does exactly what we do. So what government needs to just do, make the environment, like just the roads, make roads good. The rail system, which they have been working on, you'll be one of those things that we are looking forward to is the rail system. The Minister of Works have said a lot of things about some some train stations that will be functioning anytime soon. From there, we can be confident to do some other businesses because of that. So, I think that government just needs to do the needful. Light, electricity. We spend money on generator. On
what do you use electricity for?
Okay, innovation. You have we use technology. We scan shipments. We call them. We scan. We don't just write. Apart from writing, we scan into the system. So that when it enters the system, we start tracking. When a shipment moves from, let's assume this is a company, courier company. So we pick shipments, we bring it here, we scan them. When it gets to the point of delivery, for example, it's going to Lagos. It does not just go straight to the customer, it goes to your office in Lagos. When it gets to Lagos, you scan. And from that point, your dispatchman takes that shipment to the address. As soon as it's delivering, it scans. Now, that scan itself, this is just so small.
Why do you scan? Is it because of security here?
Security.
Do you have insecurity challenges within the postal service itself?
We won't say the insecurity challenge. It's not as extreme as the one in the north. You understand? The insecurity challenge itself is a challenge of a normal pilfering somebody. So we already have a system on ground that does that that deals with insecurity, but also we also work with what they call the security agencies.
So what are your parting shots as we go?
Parting shots: the courier business or the post industry has huge potentials, and once the enabling environment is there, like I said, is a 1 trillion naira industry, a potential 1 trillion naira industry. So it's a good business, and if you are thinking of something to do, you can think courier, and also make sure you get registered so that you pay taxes and you have the confidence to say government should support.
We must say thank you so much to Mr. Temitayo Adesuyi. He's actually FedEx Regional Manager Ibadan. Thank you for being here this morning. And of course, we've been looking at World Post Day 2019, innovation, integration and inclusion. We hope that, as a matter of fact, some of the recommendations he has already offered this morning, talking about those that are yet to register as postal services, need to actually take that challenge to have their services registered, so that the monies accruing from the postal service can be accounted for, as the case may be. From here, we just have to say bye this morning. My name is Bolabo Female School.
Until tomorrow, I am Anu Akomolafe. Have a very productive day and think of going to the post office today. Have a wonderful day.